Motivation by Mike Schwarn. There's three types of motivations you can have. First is the motivation that you know. Second is the motivation that you have to find. And third is the wrong motivation. The first type of motivation we'll talk about is the one that you know of. This is best exemplified in the story of The Visit, where Ivan searches for the maiden czar. His motivation in this story is the maiden czar's love, and he doesn't stop until he finds it, which is exemplified in the picture I used. An example of this type of motivation would be a few years ago, Brett Favre played in a Monday night football game against the Oakland Raiders. That day, his dad had passed away. This type of motivation led Brett Favre to having one of his best games in his career. A personal example of this type of motivation is our loss to UVA last year in the Super Regional. This loss is my motivation each and every day to get better on the baseball field or in the weight room. The next type of motivation we'll talk about is the one that we have to find for ourselves, the one that's not easily seen. This is best exemplified in the story of Arthur and Dragnell, especially when Arthur is out on a hunt and sees the white hart. This hart represents the motivation that Arthur needs to clean up his act and change his ways. Another good example of this is on May 29th when Roy Halladay threw a perfect game against the Miami Marlins. This is a good example because Roy Halladay needed to find some type of motivation within himself to be able to pitch a perfect game because this game was meaningless to the season. A personal example for me would be going to Gloucester Catholic or GC for high school. I had no motivation in going to Gloucester Catholic until I played baseball for countless summers. I then realized that Gloucester Catholic could open many doors for me, both baseball and academic-wise. Next is wrong motivation. Wrong motivation can make us believe that we're doing something right, when in the meantime, it's not. This is because our decision-making process is jaded because of the wrong motivation. For example, in the story The Buried Treasure, the greedy man's decision process is jaded because of his wrongful motivation of the lazy man's gold and riches. The greedy man in this story goes behind the lazy man's back to find the lazy man's gold and take it for all himself. However, when he gets there, he finds out that the gold and riches have disappeared. Another example of this is the Philadelphia Phillies, who were motivated by money to get the best team out there instead of really focusing on the farm system. Now, because of this, they are one of the worst teams in the league. A personal example for me would be my senior year in baseball when we played in the Diamond Classic and were too worried about winning the whole tournament instead of the first game. If we were worried about winning the first game, we would have won the tournament. Just remember the quote by Walt Disney, "If you dream it, you can do it. That's all the motivation I need."